and he came under this illusion that he is the doer, and that's why Bhagavad Gita was spoken, to clear his doubts by Krishna. And then there is that universal purpose. Universal purpose is more of, in the terms of, it is the to guide the humanity at large, anybody and everybody that comes into the picture of this thing. So everybody needs help, and this is one of the ways. So as we all know, life is a battlefield, and in the battlefield of life, everybody needs some help, and that is why universally this is very useful in to read this Bhagavad Gita. So this communication of knowledge that happens in, does anyone remember how long ago Bhagavad Gita was spoken? 5,000. So it was about 3000 BC. That is when this knowledge was spoken. So Bhagavad Gita, many times, I don't know if Kaya Mataji and other book history, even if someone believes that Krishna was there, some people don't believe, some people believe, then they will say that it is more ancient, and it is not really relevant in today's world, right? Sometimes people do say that like, what Kshatriya and what Brahmana and what, nothing matters anymore. Like, we are not in any kind of war. Although I just said that, like, we are facing war every day of our life, but people, those who don't want to go into getting some help from this, or they have some enmity towards Krishna, then they will say that like, it's not relevant. Start talking about this is not relevant. However, we as devotees, what do we call Bhagavad Gita? Bhagavad Gita is timeless. There is no time factor that impacts the meaning and utilization of Bhagavad Gita. So how do we explain to people that this is universal truth and this does not change based on time? So what was relevant then is still relevant here. So if you think about it, when people say that it is not relevant, there is some truth to it. And one of the main thing is that there is a context. There is a context that this was spoken in a battlefield to a particular audience, and there was an era, different era, right? Like, this is Kali Yuga, that was Dwapar Yuga. Everything is different from what it used to be at that time and now. And also the language that it was spoken, what was the prevalent language was Sanskrit. And now we speak, multiple of languages. So there's a lot of, even if we consider like one language which is very common is English, that also is different from the Sanskrit language. So it was spoken to a particular audience, and consideration of what the audience know. So now when I am speaking this right now here, I have, I know almost all of you, and at some level I know that you are all very, very learned and talented. So like, like you all know Bhagavad Gita very well. So when I am speaking Bhagavad Gita, I'm giving this class, I have this reference that I'm speaking to a known audience, and I will speak from the point that I feel that they are already at that level, and then from that level I can speak. Similarly, when it was spoken at that time, Krishna knew that Arjuna is actually he's a eternally liberated soul. It's not that like he's an ordinary person who was just brought into front of Krishna. So he already knew, but he was put into that confusion so that Krishna can speak this and it can be utilized by the universal help. Basically, it can provide. So there is some some truth to that thing. But what Bhagavad Gita is, that Bhagavad Gita is not simply a time-based principles given into that. Bhagavad Gita has the component of being timeless. So if you know, like, I mean, think about, there are truths, there are, like, you know, truths which are universal, and it does not matter if it was 5,000 years back or it is now. So that is that part. And also there is, you know, like, I mean, some part of Bhagavad Gita where you may find that it is more contextual, like the names and all those things, but we'll talk about it later. So basically the truths are timeless. In order to understand any ancient scripture which is, you know, like, not from this time, there is something that, you know, in literature being used. It is called the ladder of abstraction. Ladder of abstraction. So I don't let the words throw you off. It's not that complicated. I'm going to explain to you. It's very simple, but it is a very normal term being used in literature. How to explain something which is coming from the past, and how to make it more relevant here. So the ladder of abstraction is described as like we have all seen that ladder. So there is a, you know, a bottom, and then there is a top where the ladder is. So this ladder of abstraction is more like a triangle in which there is a going up, and then there is a going down, and below is the audience basically. So what is relevant to people in nowadays life, or at any given time, is something which is more specific and more, you know, tangible, something which is more practical and usable for a person. And Bhagavad Gita's principles are like esoteric, and they are more abstract. So that's why it is called ladder of abstraction. So the principles or the truths that Bhagavad Gita is describing, they are more abstract, they are very high level, they are more philosophical. Okay, and our requirements is very, very specific and within the details. Now, in order to explain this, you know, like, I mean, so I would say that at the highest level, if you look at Bhagavad Gita, then what does Bhagavad Gita have is, if you go to second chapter describes what? Anyone? What is second chapter? Contents of Gita summarized or Sankhya Yoga. Both are right. So in there, what is Krishna explaining?
Our true identity.
Yes, our true identity, right? So he's talking about you are not the body and you are the spiritual. Which verse is that? Dehinosmin yatha dehe komanam yauvanam jara tatha dehantam prapti dhiras tatra na muhyate. So a wise person doesn't get bewildered when, you know, the soul changes the body at that time. So at the time of death, they don't change. They don't, you know, like, I mean, basically get bewildered by the death. They know that this is just a change of body. So this is a truth. Now, how do you know, like, I mean, when you tell someone you are not body, then it doesn't really, you know, like, connect with that person. Because he says, okay, so what do I do with that truth? Okay, I am not the body, so what do I do with that thing? So basically, you know, like, we need to take it down to the mid level. And at the mid level, what do we call it? That as Rohini Mataji said, your identity is deeper than your job, your body, your emotions. All those things are there, but your true identity is deeper. And then that person might think, if he is at the mid level of the ladder. But if that person has even, you know, less than that, then he may relate to more like the stress from work, family pressure, burnout. All those things will make more sense to that person. And when you explain it in that way, then that person will be able to more clearly understand and apply the principles of Bhagavad Gita. So that is why we need to, so this is the highest level, like, you know, like I talked about, you are not the body. Then there is in the chapter 6, we just learned the verse at, in our Bhagavad Gita class. is Bandhuratmat manastasya yena atmana tajitah anatmanastu satrutve varte tam eva satruvat. So mind can be your friend or your enemy. Now this thing, when you tell to someone who is not at that level, then he will not be able to, like interpret or get the meaning out of it and use it in practical life. So for that, what you need to tell him is that if you a disciplined mind can help you make better decisions. And to the last level, what can we say is this anxiety is due to like social media comparison and all those things, and then that person will relate to those things, and then we can help that person. So it is important, if we want to explain this Bhagavad Gita to a normal person, we need to come back from the level of abstraction all the way to the specific details. So Krishna in Bhagavad Gita is moving from the top to bottom in order to explain to Arjuna. And this is why when you read Bhagavad Gita, you don't feel that, like, I don't understand this thing. Because Krishna is keeping both levels in picture. And in addition to that, all of us are also responsible to explain to people what it means. If this says that mind is, like your enemy and it can be your friend, how does it apply to your life? So this is required. So you need to jump from level to level in the ladder of abstraction if you want to explain Bhagavad Gita. If you continue to talk at the top level, what is it going to happen is that, like you will talk about soul, mode, dharma, paramatma, then many people are going to feel, I don't understand. I don't understand what this is. If anyone reads actually Bhagavad Gita's first chapter, especially if he's not from the Indian background, that person will, get bogged down because they can't even pronounce Dhritarashtra. Like the first words, Dhritarashtra Uvacha, and that person will, how do I say Dhritarashtra basically? So you can just, lose that person right there. So that is why it is important that like you need to jump between the levels. Somebody may think that this is too philosophical for me, and somebody may think that it doesn't help my life, right? So that's why you need to, and if you speak to the bottom level, just the practical example, and they think that this is just self-help. How many classes we have seen on the internet that is going to talk about how to release your stress, how to do this, there is so much talk. So this is self-help. So if you talk at the bottom level, then it is just, self-help. And if you stay in the middle, then it becomes vague. People just don't understand if you stay within the middle. So that is why you need to jump between the levels if you really want to explain and come to the concrete level where people can make sense and relate to their day-to-day problems. Okay, so in today's session, we will make an attempt. We are going to go through 18 slides. 18 slides, main slides, and 18 slides will have what? 18 chapters, right? So from each chapter, we will take an abstract truth, and then we will have a practical application and one connected verse. So we will go through the entire Bhagavad Gita, and at the same time we will look at the flow of Bhagavad Gita, how the Bhagavad Gita is moving from chapter to chapter. Okay, so as I mentioned, the first chapter is mainly more specifics or the details. All the names are mentioned. Who is who? Krishna played Panchajanya, and Arjuna played Devadatta, and like all the Shankha's names and all those things. So this is all very much contextual because this is the war and this is happening at that time, and that's why all those things are there. And it may not make sense to everybody, but we'll look at the first chapter and we will see if we can even find out one truth which is applicable to the first chapter. Okay? So as a general flow of Bhagavad Gita, there is 3 sections in Bhagavad Gita. The first section is more about identity, self, and duty. And Krishna is establishing identity, karma, mind control, and yoga from chapter 1 to chapter 6. So that is the first section. In the second section, he then takes you further to God and relationship. And then he reveals his true nature, energies, opulences, personal form, everything. And in the last section, between from chapter 13 to 18, he talks about nature, modes, and liberation. So Krishna is describing in their Prakriti the three modes, faith, and the ultimate surrender. That is chapter 18. So this is how it moves. So it goes from self and duty to God and relationship. This chapter 7 to 12 is primarily focusing. This is like a jewel in the Bhagavad Gita. Like this is the crux of the Bhagavad Gita. Very important part. So 7 to 12 is God and its relationship, and that is the most interesting part. And 13 to 18, then we talk about, ultimately we go from illusion or confusion in Arjun to liberation in the chapter 18. So it moves from like that. So this is the general flow of Bhagavad Gita. But we will look at the chapter by chapter also, and then we will look at how we move from confusion to surrender in the Bhagavad Gita. So can we go to chapter 1? Okay. Anyone has any questions or comments before we move there? You're good? Is everybody, kind of walked down by ladder of abstraction? I hope not. So, okay. So the first chapter is titled as, it's titled in different ways, but basically it is called Arjun Vishad Yoga. That means that Arjun is in Vishad, in sadness. So this is called Arjun Vishad Yoga. Okay. In first chapter, as I mentioned, what is being described? Anyone? Any? You can participate in that. What is being described in the chapter 1? So many characters. Yes. The setup of the battlefield. Yes. There are soldiers on one side and this side, like Kaurava's side and Pandava's side. Yes.
All the details. Name of the Shankar.
Yes, name of the Shankas. What else? Arjun Vishad Yoga. This is Arjun Vishad Yoga. So what else is it describing?
Sad to see his family members that they are ready to fight.
So lamentation of Arjun. So Arjun is lamenting that I am going to kill. So he gets into the sadness. So this is what is being described in the chapter 1. So let's look at one universal truth which is timeless, which does not change based on time, from this chapter also. And that I feel that, can everybody see that? Okay. So what is the timeless principle in this? It is that life is a battlefield. Regardless of what time the Bhagavad Gita is spoken or at what time it is being utilized, life remains a battlefield. Anybody here who has no problems in life, please raise your hand. I thought I'll get some challenge from somebody that I don't have any problem. No? Okay. I wanted to bow down to that person, and but I guess not today. So life is a battlefield, and it creates confusion and fear arise naturally because of the problems that all of us face. And these are like a buzzwords in nowadays life. Stress, anxiety. We use all these words like but every sentence something. Oh, I'm so stressed. I'm so overwhelmed. I'm so busy. How many times in the corporate world you have heard this? Although they don't do anything, they say, I am so busy. I am so busy. And their signal on the team's message in their status will be always busy. Do not disturb. And you go and look at him, and then he will be talking to his wife or somebody. But this is overwhelming. The life can be overwhelming, and we all have experienced that. There is a burnout that happens, panic, decision fatigue. All those things do happen in our life. So life is a battlefield, and we are fighting all those things. So what do we learn from this chapter? What is the practical application? And that is what did Arjun do? He paused. He did not run away. He paused. He says, this is a battlefield. I have the best help that anyone can get. Let me get that help. And he went to Krishna. He says, first of all, yes, that's very important, is he acknowledged his emotions. He says that, I'm so perplexed now. I cannot hold my Gandiva bow in my hand, and he actually drops it also. So he's completely, in a panic mode. He says, I cannot fight. That is his, he just said, okay, I can't do that. So you first of all, in solving a problem, the first thing that you need to do is acknowledge that you have a problem. So he acknowledged that problem, and he acknowledged his emotions, that I am in this kind of state of emotion. And then the best thing is he seek guidance from the higher source. For in his case, he had the opportunity for the highest source. Not higher source, but the highest source. The source of the source. Aham Sarvasya Prabhava is the source of everything. So he went to him. He was lucky, or he was destined to, but we are not that lucky. So what we need to do? We need to seek guidance from the sannyasis, the acharyas, those people, and we can get true guidance from having a guru. So that is important and needed. Okay, and there's one verse that I picked from this, is this one. He says that I am now unable to stand here any longer. I am forgetting myself, and my mind is reeling. I see only causes of misfortune. Oh Krishna, killer of the Kesi demon. He's saying this, that you are Madhusudana, Kesi, or what is that? Keshava. So he says Keshava. Why? Because you killed the demon Keshi, and you can kill the demon within myself also. This illusion, whatever I am going through, you are the only one who can solve this thing. So he says, acknowledges that I am in bad state, please instruct me, basically. So that's what we get from this. So every chapter is it's a collection of fantastic verses, and there are so many spiritual truths and so many things happening in every chapter. There is so much wisdom in Bhagavad Gita that you can get help from each chapter in anything that you are looking for. So I have just picked up one thing, but we all need to read everything, and we need to get help from everything that is available there. So this may not be applicable to you in your problem, but there may be something else that is applicable. So I have picked up what I like, but doesn't mean that other thing is not important. Everything is important in Bhagavad Gita. Okay? We'll go to the second chapter. So the flow is, Arjun is lamenting, and he is asking Krishna, telling Krishna that I am in this state of mind. Please help me. So, next chapter. It is titled Sankhya Yoga, or the Yoga of the Knowledge. In this chapter, as we talked about, this is an identity. Many years back, when I started in Krishna consciousness, there is one sannyasi whose name is Bhakti Bhagvat Maharaj. He is coming from South Africa, and he gave a class which I still remember the title. The title was Identity Crisis. And this identity crisis he talked about in front of a completely non-devotee crowd. And he just asked me, can you help me to get to the place and bring me back? So I was fortunate enough to be part of that class, basically. So that was, way back, many years back. And he talked about the entire thing without mentioning Krishna's name even once. Why? Because when you start to take Krishna's name in front of a crowd like that, what happens is that they feel it is religious. This is religious, and then people wants to separate themselves out from that. So he gives a title which is Identity Crisis, And then he talked about basically, this concept where Krishna says that you are not the body. So you are the spirit soul. So what is the universal truth that we are going to look at in this one is the soul is eternal, indestructible, and beyond the material body. So what Arjun said, these are my kinsmen, these are my family members, I don't want to kill them. So in response, what is the first thing Krishna says? You are not the body. So you talk about bodily relationship, but you are not the body. So what's the problem? Problem solved. Bhagavad Gita finished. Go and fight, right? So this is it's not that simple, obviously. So he's describing the like what are the characteristics of the soul and how we are different from this body and we are the spirit soul. So what is the practical application? If you, just as a joke, if you slap someone and say that you are not the body, you shouldn't complain about it. The soul doesn't get hurt. That won't probably work. So we have to be more practical and be kind. So we have to detach ourselves from these temporary roles that we assign to ourselves and the bodies. At work, we may be, like manager, president, CEO, whatever we may be, those roles. So those are temporary roles. Also, what are the other temporary roles?
Father, mother,
Brother, sister, son, daughter. All those are temporary roles and bodies. And Krishna is asking us that remember that your true identity whenever you are in the moment of stress or loss. At that time, remember that everything is temporary. That is what we learn from the second chapter, that everything is temporary except the spirit soul. So do not worry about things. The idea is not to be not compassionate to people. If somebody has lost a near one or dear one, or there is a problem, there is that sickness, any of those things, doesn't mean that we go and tell them that you are not the body, don't worry about it. That won't go very well, I'm sure. So the point to tell them is that for yourself, when you go through some trouble like that, at least try and remember that we are here for a temporary basis. We are eternally connected to Krishna and we are the servants of Krishna and we want to go back there. So as long as we keep that in mind, it is easier for us to handle the stress or any kind of miseries that come across all of us. Okay? What is the verse? न जायते म्रियते वा कदाचित् नायं भूत्वा भविता न भूयः अजो नित्य शाश्वतोऽयं पुराणो न हन्यते हन्यमाने शरीरे. For the soul there is neither birth nor death at any time. He has not come into being, does not come into being, and will not come into being. He is unborn, eternal, ever existing and primeval. He is not slain when the body is slain. Again, don't use this. He is not slain to kill someone. So that's chapter 2. So Arjuna is lamenting. Krishna is saying, you are not this body. And then we'll go to the third chapter. Obviously, when Krishna said that you are not this body, it's not going to be enough for Arjuna. It's not going to disconnect him or detach him from his relationship that he has with his kinsman because everybody has a body. We all have bodies. And when we have the body, naturally we have to deal with everybody with respect to the body. We have a verse in Bhagvat Gita chapter 5 that Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavi Hastini Sunichena Swapakecha Pandita Samadarshini. Does not mean that there is a wild animal and then we are going to go and say that Vidya Vinaya Sampanne, I consider you also to be, just like me, a spirit soul. Let's play. So no, you can't do that. You still have to deal with everyone, keeping in mind that they are in the consciousness where they are in the consciousness of what body they are in. And you have to deal with people in that way. So this does not mean that. This just means that we need to be aware that we are not this body, not for dealing with everybody. Okay, so far so good. Chapter 3,
Karma.
Karma Yoga. So Arjun, as I said, is not easily going to be convinced about it. So because you have to deal with the body. So Krishna thought that I need to take him to the next level now. So what he is trying to teach in Karma Yoga is that it's okay, you are the you have the body, and you need to deal with this. So when you are doing any of the karmas, get detached from the results. So that will free you from the the miseries that you feel. When you are going to throw your arrow, you do it as a matter of duty. Do not think that it kills someone, it will kill someone or not kill someone, because what is in your hand is effort. You don't have to worry about the results, and do not get attached to the results, that when I shoot the arrow, I am going to kill this person. It happens, great. If it doesn't happen, it's fine. So when you keep that kind of a mood doing your karma, then it will free you, it will liberate you from the results of the action. So what is the timeless principle? Action is inevitable. Everybody has to act. But freedom comes from acting without attachment to results. When we are going to give an exam, if you are a student and if you want to give exams, at that time, if you can detach yourself from how much marks I am going to get, it's very likely that you will do much better in the exams, rather than if you are keeping in mind that 99% is that is my target, and anything less is failure. And in that case, what's going to happen is that even if you get 98, you will still feel like a failure. So that is why do not get attached to the results. Get attached to the effort, that I will do the best effort possible in my hands. Okay. So that is what Krishna is teaching Arjuna. What is the practical application? Offer your work as service. When you do something, anything like in the devotional aspect or within material life, when we do something, do it as an offering to Krishna. It's still time. This is Karma Yoga. So do your work as a service. Offering is still not. It is in the next part of the Bhagavad Gita. And then focus on excellence. Everybody has seen 3 Idiots. What does Amir Khan say? Excellence ke piche bhago. Do not something like that, right?
Numbers पे मत जाओ, excellence पर.
Yes.
Not for the excellence, for learning.
Sorry?
He says that you should go for the learning.
Yes.
Not for the excellence, you should go for the curiosity and learning. That's what he says in the movie.
Yes. Yeah. So, not for a reward or recognition. When you do something, do not do it for the purpose of getting a reward or recognition. If you give a class, if you are expecting recognition, that everybody will say, yes, good job, then that is not right. What you need to focus on is on your service, and do it as a service. If a reward or recognition comes as a benefit, accept it. That is not a problem. The problem is in getting attached to a particular result or reward. So that's the practical application for that. We have to go a little bit fast. So this is in verse 3.19. Therefore, without being attached to the fruits of activities, one should act as a matter of duty. For by working without attachment, one attains the supreme.
Prabhu, can I make a suggestion? Like, just because you said we have to go a little bit faster. If we lose the essence, like, is there a way we can maybe split it into 2? I'm not saying you can't get it done, but you're going to do all 18 chapters. I'm looking at the time. Practically speaking, you're doing an amazing job. Yeah, is there a way that it can get divided if need be, or no?
Yeah, Prabhuji, it is actually very
Because
It's
It's-
enjoyable understanding the Arya. Otherwise, it's
if
too
you're
fast.
going to rip it through the you know?
We'll see,
See how it
what the
goes.
best we can do.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
Because we have to leave early also today.
Yeah,
We
no.
have to. Okay, so good with this. So this is Karma Yoga. So from Sankhya Yoga, which is telling us how, we are not this body, to the point where Krishna is asking Arjun that you have the body and you need to work according to that, but work in such a way that you are not attached to the results, and then you will be free from your reactions that comes to you. Okay, Karma Yoga. Okay, we are good. We'll go to the next. So Krishna felt that, okay, now I need to sweeten up this deal a little bit more. So he thought that, okay, you are, you are just going to do the work, but there is no connection with the Supreme here. So there is, it's like very dry. How many of us can actually do that? When you are doing something, you are working for your exams, and how many times we can actually see that, okay, I didn't get the results, I'm not attached to it or something like that. It doesn't really automatically work. We need to have some more into it instead of just doing, okay, just do your work. Don't worry about the results. It's easier said than done. So then Krishna is, sweetening the deal. He says that, okay, what you can do is a right knowledge. You need to get some knowledge. Without knowledge, if any ordinary action is remaining ordinary action. He says if you need to transform this ordinary action into a spiritual progress. You will get something out of it. Right? So says when you are doing something, do it with the knowledge, and don't do it as mechanically as you are thinking. Okay, so that's timeless principle. What is the practical application for this? So study and reflect before acting. Learn from authentic sources or teachers. So primarily, in my understanding, this chapter is actually giving you, that you should have a teacher, and you should accept a teacher, and you should learn from the teacher. You need knowledge. You cannot just be like an animal who is just going to go around and doing things, Ahara Nidra Bhayamaithunam. These four things are common in your life, right? Between you and the animals. What is that?
Sleeping, eating, mating, and
Eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. These things are common. But what is going to differentiate between human and animal is dharma and the knowledge that you get. You have this intelligence which animals do not have. So you have something more. So he says you go to an authentic source or teachers and learn from them. So what is the verse that he is asking? Tadavidi pranipatena paniprashtina svedaya upatekshanti te gnanam gnaninas tattva darshinam. So what does it mean? Just try to learn the truth by approaching the spiritual master. Inquire from him submissively and render service unto him. The self-realized souls can impart knowledge unto you because they have seen the truth. This is very important, is that Gnaninas Tattva Darshina. When someone has seen something, what is truth, then he can describe you the truth. If someone has not seen the truth, it doesn't have, right? So you need to go and learn from a teacher. This is what Krishna is saying, and this is, very important before you go any further. Otherwise, you are going to speculate. If you don't have the right knowledge, you will speculate that this is what, this is right, this is wrong. You need to understand what is right and what is wrong before you do anything. So that is why it is important to have the knowledge and why we do what we do. Okay? Go to the next chapter. This action in Krishna consciousness. So this is like the ultimate deal, basically, for Arjun specifically. Because Arjun is a Kshatriya and he wants to do something. He cannot just stay idle, he cannot just take sannyas and go anywhere, and it's not going to benefit him. So for him, he has to act. and if he has to act, Krishna is asking him to act in Krishna consciousness. What does acting in Krishna consciousness mean? Anyone?
Acting by keeping Krishna in center.
Sorry?
Acting by keeping Krishna in center.
Krishna in the center. So you have to keep Krishna in the center of everything.
So this is the what you said as action in offering. Offering as a service.
Yes, as an offering. Yes. Whatever you do, do it as an offering to Krishna, basically. So what Krishna is saying, so what did he do first? He said that you should do the work, but you should detach from the results. Then second, he says that do your work, but as a
Offering.
as an offering, as a service. Do it as a service. And then he says that yes, and then you get some knowledge also. You need to have some knowledge before you do anything. And now he's saying that once you get the knowledge, the true knowledge is that whatever you do it for Krishna. You do it for Krishna or to propagate Krishna consciousness within your family, within the society, or any of those things. So you do everything keeping Krishna in the center. What is the timeless principle? True renunciation is internal. All actions must be offered to Krishna. So why is he saying this true renunciation? Because Arjuna is asking, what does Arjuna want to do? He wants to renunciate. He wants to go away. So Krishna says, you want to renunciate, but what is true renunciation is not external. Renunciation is not external. It is not just to shave off your head and wear, Bhagvat, the saffron clothes, and go into the jungle. That's not renunciation. He says true renunciation is internal. It's not external. So he describes to him that when you are not attached to the results of what you are doing, actually you are the true renunciate. Not the one who has gone into the forest but constantly thinking about what he is missing into the material world. And he says that everything must be offered to Krishna. So he's taking, gradual steps. He's saying, do your work without attachment, have knowledge, do it as a service, and then finally he says, do it as an offering to Krishna. And then you will not incur any sins. Whatever you do, if you do it in this way, then you will not incur any sins. And that means that you can, at the end of your life, you can come back to me. This is what Krishna is saying. So what is the practical application? Perform your duties fully, but surrender the results to Krishna. Work becomes worship. Many times we have heard this misnomer. What is it? What do they say? Work is worship. It's nonsense. It's completely nonsense. Work is not worship. You need to work. What does it say?
Becomes worship
Work
when you offer it.
as an offering, as worship. Work as worship. Not work becomes worship. Work is worship. Work is not worship. Work can become worship. Whatever you do, it can become worship. But work in general, it doesn't mean that any work you do is worship. And that is how it is being treated in our Indian society, basically.
All wrong things.
So, many years back, when I started in Krishna consciousness, the first class was, something in somebody's basement. There was one person who was the owner of that house. He invited everybody and somebody was speaking, but he says, I am kind of a karma yogi. I don't believe in all these things. What does it mean then? You are karma yogi, that means that you are not, there is no connection with Krishna, basically, right? So you are missing the main link, and you are just saying that I am going to continue doing my work. I am a good person. How many times we have heard that also?
Be a good person.
I don't need this. I am a good person, and that's all that is important. I am going to do the good things. At some level, yes, it's very good to be a good person. I am not saying that you should be a bad person, but you need to go all the way. Don't just stop there that I am a good person and then you stop. That's it. No, you need to go all the way. You need to offer your results and everything to Krishna. So work becomes worship when you include him in every action. And this will free you from stress, expectation, and ego. So as you can see, there is some practical application which connects us to today's world. We all go through stress, expectation, and ego. When we apply this principle, these things will be reduced or won't be there. If you are working for someone, then you don't have to worry so much about the results, right? Like, I mean, if you are trying to sell, you are going to get your salary regardless of whether you make a sale or not. Then would you worry about the results that how much I am selling? You won't, right? So it's like that. The results doesn't matter here. So that means that you can just focus on the efforts. It's the sincerity of your efforts. That is what Krishna is looking at. Krishna is looking at what? Intent, your sincerity, all those things Krishna is looking at. So focus on those things and offer the results to Krishna. What does offering result to Krishna mean? Can anyone tell me? Are we going to give our salary to, a temple deity? I made, $10,000. Here, Krishna, take it and leave it there. Are we going to do that?
Whether
To
it's
offer the success, if you want to look at, or the failure of it, is offered to Krishna. Meaning that when I succeed, it's not myself.
Yes.
It's the mercy.
So I'm not the doer, basically.
I'm not the only doer.
Yes. So I'm making an effort, so I'm part of the team, but I'm not the only person who is deciding all those things. So when you offer, you are basically detaching yourself from that I did it, that is first thing, and what we got. Both things are basically given to Krishna. That it's up to you. Krishna, you are so merciful, that's why I could do this. So this is all yours. Right? So when we are offering, the good thing is Krishna never takes it. I wish he was though. But one day I would like to see that Krishna, actually takes whatever I am offering as a bhoga from the plate. So I'm not going to be that fortunate for sure, but we are safe. Even if you offer him full salary, he will not take it personally. If you offer it to Iskcon Oakville, it will be. Okay. And what's the verse? Bhoktaram yakatrasam sarvalokam maheshwaram suradam sarvabhutanam gnatvam mam shantim gacchati. So this is a peace formula. This is a peace formula where Krishna is saying, I am the Bhoktaram, means I am the enjoyer. And he says, Yajna Tapasham, any kind of austerities you are doing, I am actually the enjoyer. I am the beneficiary of whatever work you are doing. And then he says that I am who I am, Sarva Loka Maheshwaram. I am the boss of boss, the top boss. But he is not just the boss. He says, Suradam Sarva Bhutana. I am I'm in everyone's heart, and I am, I'm looking at what you are doing, and so I am staying in your heart. Sarva Bhutanam, everybody. And when someone understands this, and he says that you will get peace. Why? Because nothing belongs to me. Why I need to worry about? Why I need to stress about? Everything belongs to Krishna. Sarva Loka Maheshwaram. And Bhoktaram Yajatapashtam, everything belongs to him. It's not my problem. Even if someone, cheats you or do something, you have to understand that he's actually cheating Krishna. He's not cheating you. So it just brings peace into your mind. I'm not saying that you should not do anything about somebody cheating you. But that stress, that aggravation, that agitation that comes into your mind, it will go down. Simply because you know that nothing unfair is going to happen to me. Krishna is the Bhoktaram. I am not, concerned with this thing. So that's how you can feel the peace. That's a peace formula there. Okay, we'll go to chapter 6. Dhyana Yoga. So Krishna is basically Arjun. After listening to all these things, he's still stuck with the thought that he wants to take sannyas, right? So then he is asking Krishna, what is better? Is it better to be a renunciate or be in the grahastha ashram here? Basically, he wants to understand more about Dhyana Yoga. So Dhyana Yoga is where you do meditation, and then you accomplish darshan of Krishna as a Paramatma, and you get some siddhis if you are looking for that. All those things comes under Dhyana Yoga. Now Dhyana Yoga is not something that we can practice in this particular yoga. It's very, very difficult. We can't even, our attention span is more like a gnat. Gnat is like, that bug.
Bug.
Like it goes here, then he go here, here, here. He doesn't have any attention span. We are like that only. We have no attention span, and then we want to meditate. We want to meditate for years. We can't even meditate for 1 hour. So it doesn't work. So this chapter is more for, Krishna doesn't want to miss out on anything, and especially Arjun wants to know about this renunciation part. So that's why he's explaining. But if you read the entire chapter, what is the last verse that is going to say in Bhagavad Gita in this chapter? We'll look at that. So he says, what is the timeless principle for this? The highest perfection in yoga is constant remembrance of Krishna and loving service to him. So even if you are doing meditation, even if you are doing dhyana yoga, you are doing asanas, ashtanga yoga, whatever, what is the ultimate purpose is to remember Krishna all the time. And that unless and until that is your purpose, whatever else you do is just a physical exercise. It does not mean anything. There is no benefit in the long run. It may temporarily benefit you by making a better body, 6 packs and whatever else that comes with that, and some siddhis, but that doesn't have any value. So what is the practical application? In modern life, what do we need? Mindfulness, devotional consciousness, reduce the stress, anxiety and distraction. So even if you do meditation or you do bhakti yoga, both of them has the same benefit, that it's going to reduce your stress, anxiety and distraction. Those who have tried meditation, they know that it makes you feel peaceful and happy, right? So that is the benefit. If you do want to try that, please do that. But when you do feel peaceful, don't go for sense gratification. Do chanting. When you feel peaceful, at least chant, and that will benefit you. That is what Krishna is saying here. So that is the benefit or practical application of the Dhyana Yoga. And this is the last verse. So Krishna is, taking Arjun from stage to stage, and in this one, he talks about the Dhyana Yoga, but in the end, he says, you know what? It's, who is the best of the yogis? He says, Yogi Nam Api Sarvesham Mat Katar Antaratmana Shraddhavan Bhajante Yomam Same Yukta Tamomata. Today only, he described this particular verse. So what does it mean? Of the all yogis, the one with the great faith who always abides in me, thinks of me within himself, and renders transcendental loving service to me, he is the most intimately united with me in yoga and is the highest of all. That is my opinion. So he explained the whole chapter, and in the end he kind of deleted it. So basically he said that, it's all well and good, but who is the best? Someone who, even if he's doing meditation, who thinks of me, that is the best. And that's where he's taking you. So he's taking you to a journey from, you are not the body, all the way to, now we are coming up to meditation or Dhyana Yoga. Okay? So this is chapter 6. I don't know if we want to stop at this section, or does anyone have any questions or comments? Anything? All good? We'll all be pro after this?
In chapter 5 you mentioned about we need to offer everything, every action to Krishna. So in practical way, in day-to-day life, how can we, practically implement that thing, like thinking about Krishna all the time in every action? For example, I have to prepare food for my kids in the morning, right? So I can think about, okay, they are part and parcel of Krishna, so I'm preparing for him. That one way I could think. But when they are getting late and I'm too much stressed because I have to drop them to school and then I have to go and go to my work on time, but they are just making me late, so I just get into my nerves. I know it's not good, but how can I think of some practical things so that I can calm myself and then not get all this anxiety and stress things. So how can I practically?
The good news is, Mataji, everybody has the same problem. You are not alone, and that is for sure.
And they start fighting, and then it just gets into my nerves. So correct. That's so hard.
If you are cooking for your kids, you just change your thought process or your perspective. When you are cooking, you can think in terms of that kids will like this or not like this, because this is not a stage. You are in a grahastha ashram right now. You cannot just think about Krishna. It is not, like, even if I tell you, you won't be able to do that, right? So it doesn't make sense. That is fine, but still, cook for Krishna. Whenever you are cooking, cook for Krishna. So that way, at least that part is taken care, that you are cooking, but you are not necessarily cooking for Krishna. And when you cook, don't taste anything, and then before you give it to your kids, offer it to Krishna. So he will take away any other, anything that is not right. He will take everything away and make it blessed food or pure food or prasadam. And that prasadam, when you give it to your kids, that will make a big difference in your life. That is for sure. Now, coming to your second, point, that like you are running from here to there, and there are times when you cannot think of Krishna, and that is fine too. That is also acceptable. Your intent and your effort should be to think about Krishna. And like if you give me some specific problems, maybe there are ways that I can help you, that this is how you can remember Krishna. I'll give you, without you giving me anything, one thing I can tell you is that when we are outside, and if we see sunlight as an example, you can think of Krishna just looking at the sunlight. Why? Because Krishna says that I am the heat and light of the sun. So it reminds you of Krishna. Even if you are just looking at the sunlight, okay? Wind is blowing, you can feel that this is also Krishna's doing. Anything that you see within the nature is basically Krishna's doings. Right? You look at the sky, you look at the stars, you look at the moon, anything, you look at any living being. I was trying to clean my cold room. Okay, now how do you think about Krishna at that time? Like it's such a boring and not pleasing job to clean a cold room. Now, when you are cleaning the cold room and then comes out a house centipede from your cold room, when you look at that, it's difficult to think about Krishna at that time. All you are thinking is to either run off or you want to kill that that bug and just go along with that thing. But you can actually think of Krishna when you look at that bug also. Why? Because I have seen that very closely, that bug. It's got so many legs and it moves at an electric speed. A human are trying to make a robot, and that is taking them. I went to a seminar and they showed us a robot. I asked them how much they cost. It says about $400,000 for a robot. So, and that will not work after 15 minutes. Why? Because its battery will die. And look at this amazing creature that Krishna has created that is self-sustaining. It's going to find food, it's going to do everything, and it's going to run, it's going to eat, and everything it's going to do without anybody's help, with Krishna's energy being in it. So you can still think of Krishna in that way. So there are, like if you read that particular chapter in Bhagavad Gita, you will come across so many things that you can see within the nature, which will remind you of Krishna. So it's possible. It takes practice. None of us are, at least I am not perfect. I know that I cannot think of Krishna for 24 hours, but I'm trying, and Krishna is watching. Krishna is watching my intent. Okay, he's trying. That's good enough for Krishna. Krishna doesn't look for perfection. Yes, Prabhu.
Did you run or did you kill the centipede? That's the main question. I think everything else is.
I do not kill the
No, I know, I
insects, Prabhu.
Yeah, I would.
What I do is I try to pluck them with a tissue or something and then throw them outside.
That's what I
in
do
the-
too. Prabhu.
And it is, I accept,
AJ had to
it is
ask
not
that
always
I
possible.
had to ask the question.
They die,
No.
sometimes they die, but
Yeah.
For me,
you know,
I know.
I'm trying. Again, my intent is not to kill them,
It's exactly.
but I don't, my intent is not to keep them either. Whatever it is, yes, Prabhu.
Prabhu, I'm reading Geeta and I have reached 11th chapter. So the problem which I'm facing is the previous chapters I don't remember.
yes,
And,
happens to me.
you know, I sometimes I write the notes for the crux, but you know, you get like gaps, like, you know, something comes up in your life and a week you have not read it. Then when you revisit it, then you forgot a lot of things. And this is, you know, like my goal is like, you know, I have seen some Iskcon people who remember every shalok and the context. I have to reach that level, and I know I have to read the Gita multiple times to reach that level. But I want your guidance of the roadmap of reading the Gita, so you can understand and remember things when some problem is coming in your life, you know, day-to-day life, and you remember, and you can control your anger, you can utilize proper your intelligence. Sometimes, you know, you don't remember.
Gita's goal is like any other scriptures, is transformation. Right? What is the purpose of Bhagavad Gita? Is to transform. It's transform whoever reads that particular book or whoever listens to that particular book. So transformation is the only evidence that we can see which will make us feel that Bhagavad Gita makes sense, right? And as far as it is concerned, that like whether you can remember Bhagavad Gita and how long it will take, it's just an individual thing. But whenever you read, one thing that you can keep in mind is that don't read it for the sake of reading. There are you know, like there are people who would just read it because, you know, I have to read, otherwise it is inauspicious in my life. So I have to read this so that I get auspiciousness, I get some material things, and I can be happy. But the real purpose is to do the transformation. So when you read something, you read it with that frame of mind, that how does this help me? How does each verse help me in my life? You may find sometimes some use, you know, some practical applications, sometimes you may not find. But the best approach is that, like if you want to get great marks in exam, we have to just keep reminding ourselves, keep reading it, keep doing these things. So the only way is to just do it and try to remember those things. And the other thing that you can do is that you can attend more and more classes, so that you are going to keep repeating, your brain gets repeated that, okay, no, this is where I can help. And even if you will get this, connection between the verse and the practical application a few times, what it is going to do is it's going to inspire you to remember this more and more. So it's the results which will drive your next, next effort, and that way you may be able to remember. Honestly, if you ask me, I don't remember everything. What helped me in this particular, Gita Jayanti is that I decided that I am going to explain the whole Bhagavad Gita. Till today, till I prepared for this class, this flow was not in my mind. But I ended up doing this service of taking the whole Bhagavad Gita from top to bottom. So I prepared for that. So now this flow is inscribed into my mind. Now I will not forget that thing. So it's a utility which makes you remember what you read. Practical application is very important. So I know I don't have any specific answer or technique that I can tell you that, okay, this is how you can remember it. There are multiple ways you can find it on Google, that, like how do you remember verses, how do you utilize the verses, so those things. But basically, this is what comes to my mind in terms of, giving your feedback, so.
And association with God.
Yes, that makes a big difference. Yeah. If you are connected constantly with devotees, no, then if you don't remember, somebody else will remember and tell you. So, it's usually not a good idea to remind people, like of philosophical points when something wrong is happening, because at that time they are not looking for philosophical. They are looking for a compassion, a hug, or somebody listening to them. So we cannot bombard them with philosophy at that time, but you will get help basically. Some people will take care of you. It's okay. You are feeling this, but you remember this is what Krishna is saying, and this is how I actually used in my life, and that's how it gets inscribed into your mind. That okay, no, this is working. So constant, basically you need something constantly coming into your mind, so that there is no inflow of anything else coming into your mind. So keep doing it. Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Everything that you said is perfect. The only thing that I'm sort of not able to relate to is when we say, we are not the body, we are the soul. Right? But I know my parents only in the bodily format that they are in. If they were to come into any other, X identity, I wouldn't be able to recognize. Also, yeah, so that's perfect. Right? Also, time is passing now. Your children need your time and attention. Your parents need your time and attention. You are also getting, the medical bills start sort of going up, and then you are in this loop of working to pay off bills and to pay off your child's education. Do some activity just so that they can keep up with you. How do you come out of this loop, and how can we even come out of this loop?
They all did some mistakes. Okay, everybody makes a mistake. Most of here made the mistake of entering into Grahastha ashram, right? So you got married. It ends like that. Sorry to disappoint you, but it comes. It's a package, Prabhu. So when you get into this attachment, that attachment is going to bring another attachment, and it's a vicious circle. It's a cycle. You cannot change that. So those things are going to remain. You can't escape them. What do we do is that we need to include Krishna into everything that we do. We can stay within the Grahastha ashram, but I can understand that, like you are say medical bills are rising, just as an example, and you feel stress about it. At that time, you can think about Bhagavad Gita's verses and think that Sarva Loka Maheshwaram, Bhoktaram Yajna Tapasam. This all belongs to Krishna. And when the best part for the devotees, Prabhu, is that they surrender to Krishna. When they surrender to Krishna, doesn't mean that they stop doing everything. What they do is they are in their heart, they are thinking that I am not, able to manage this Grahastha ashram. I got into it, but I cannot manage. And that is when you give it to Krishna, that Krishna, please guide me. Krishna, please manage it. The moment you give, just the way Arjun gave his chariots, driving to Krishna, the same way we need to also let Krishna drive. And when there are times when the things will happen which you will not like, things may happen which you like, whatever happens, you just have that surrender, that thing that actually it's not me doing anything here. Krishna is taking care of me. There was that poem that we talked about some time back, that one person is asking that he's walking on the sea beach, and he's thinking that he could see the footsteps of Krishna and himself as he's walking. So Krishna is basically taking care of him. He's there, and after some time,
Footsteps
the
very
footsteps
gradually.
disappear. The poem is called Footsteps in the Sand. And at that time he's asking Krishna that, like, when I needed you the most, where were you? You are not there. And then Krishna says that actually I carried you at that time. And the footprints that you see is mine and not yours. So when you develop that kind of a faith, then everything in this material world becomes a piece of cake. You don't get aggravated, you don't get agitated over the issues and stresses that comes into your day-to-day life. There is no way to avoid them. Everybody gets them. If you are in the material world is a place of misery. It's a dukkhalayam asasaram. There's nothing you can do about that part. But when you surrender to Krishna, it becomes like crossing over a hoof print, like a cow's, it's like that easy. So it does become easy, Prabhu, but the surrender has to be, full surrender there. That Krishna is managing, Krishna is handling everything. So. Yeah, good talk. Yes.
30 seconds, Prabhu. I know you got one. So someone, just in the chapters, I was once told something really that resonated with me. Learn to tolerate, like in terms of duality,
Yes.
learn to tolerate the happiness,
Yes.
not the dukkha. Like
Both. Happiness and distress,
No.
both you need to learn to tolerate.
That's a duality comment. But in that duality, learn to tolerate the ups, because the ups will come down. If you get too carried away in the ups, you will be destroyed when they come.
Difficult to accept that.
When it's sad, it will work itself out. But if you're in the elated mood and you're caught up in that will hurt you more in that duality cycle. Somebody was really focused on that. It resonated with me. So
Yes, thank you.
just
Prabhu.
thought I would share.
So I'm going to, the statement I'm going to make it. So next week is Geeta Jayanti, and as we went through 6 chapters so far. In these chapters, at least we learned that like each chapter of Gita contains wisdom that can transform our day-to-day life, work, family, stress, mind, relationship, and ultimately our consciousness. So Krishna spoke these words for the entire humanity, right? So in the honor of Geeta Jayanti, please take a Bhagavad Gita home, give one to your friend, and let's make a target of bringing Bhagavad Gita into every home of Oakville. Each home should have a Bhagavad Gita in Oakville. We are in Oakville, and that's what we are going to focus on. So in the end of Bhagavad Gita, actually, let me just take you to that verse so we can, because it's this thing is coming, what you call Geeta Jayanti is coming. So it is my duty here to okay. So these are 2 verses in Bhagavad Gita in chapter. The first one is 1868. Here Krishna says, for one who explains this supreme secret to the devotees, pure devotional service is guaranteed. And at the end, he will come back to me. This is what Krishna is promising here. So all you need to do is, you need to explain this secret to other devotees. Now we may not have the time or convenience to talk to everybody that we see, but Krishna has the time. Krishna has already spoken. So what we need to do? We need to distribute the Bhagavad Gita to everybody. So this is what. So this slide is titled as "Go Back to Godhead." So this is the guarantee. Why do you think Kavya Mataji and our Bhakti distribution team, the book distribution team, going out in the cold and trying to distribute Bhagavad Gita? Because they read these verses. I'm telling you, they are not telling us this secret. That's why we all need to get involved into this, and we need to distribute this, because Krishna is giving you this guarantee that you can come back to it. And in the second verse, which is 1869, he says, there is no servant in this world more dear to me than he, nor will there ever be one more dear. So whoever talks about Krishna to others, He is the dearest to me. He is the closest to me. So this is what Krishna is saying. You want to be dear to Krishna? And just give these books to everybody. So on this Bhagavad Gita Jayanti, we have a target of
So our Sankirtan leader of the Iskcon Oakville, I would like most of us know that it is Kavya Mataji. Please look at that and say very loudly big Hari Bol for her. Thank you. So she has been doing nicely service, and her desire, and I would like to support that, and by our Guru Maharaj desire, we have 20 Bhagavad Gita boxes. Each Bhagavad Gita boxes has 18 books, right? Or 16? 16 books. 16 books we have. Hardbound. And each box, so what is she doing? She goes it out in the court. Even this time, even Rohini Mataji and Chetna Mataji also went with her. Yesterday also you went to Chetna Mataji? Yeah. So from 2 days they went and they are distributing Bhagavad Gita. They are distributing Bhagavad Gita. You can share if you have some picture over there. So she distributed Bhagavad Gita. So we need but Bhagavad Gita. We need 20 boxes Bhagavad Gita. Each box is sponsorship is $208. If you want to do half box, that is $104. Or you want to do Bhagavad Gita, then it is $50 one Bhagavad Gita. But if you can sponsor boxes, and we want to distribute at least, this is our year-end target to 2035. We want to have that many books, so we can.
Not for money.
This is not for money.
Not for money.
This is we.
For the verses that I spoke about.
Yeah, and you want to imagine that a couple of years back, whole boxes of boxes went to the old age home. They wanted, so they are not ready. So we are trying to reach out lots of, and if you know somewhere place where we can reach out and give the Bhagavad Gita, also you can tell us. Our team will go and give. So please, today, first December is the Gita Jayanti, and we ask your help. Bring people to come and pledge for the Bhagavad Gita boxes. Each box is again $208. Half box is $104. And we are really looking. Yes, Prabhuji, you want to say something?
I'll get one though.
Hari Bol. Mataji, Hari Bol. And Baki Jai.
So from our side, we are also sponsoring one box.
2 other. 3 box. Siva Mataji, 4 box. Here, 4 box is done. Anybody else, please? 5. Okay, 5. 6. Half. 5 and half. Okay.
He's going to do separate.
Okay. Sorry. Okay. Let's 5. 6. Half. Okay. Half. What, same or separate?
Same.
Same. Yeah. So I got lost the count. Sorry.
Can
Okay.
we come again?
It was 5 and
Ask
a
them
half.
to go to Rohini
Yeah,
and give them.
I'll tell you.
Yeah, so Rohini Mataji will, you just write it down and please, okay. So this is the, and next week, we are gonna read full Bhagavad Gita. From 2:30 sharp, we will start to read here Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita we will start to read. So 2:30 to 4 o'clock, half Bhagavad Gita should be finished. Then 4 to 4:45 the way Aarti we do. Again 4:45 to till that we don't finish Bhagavad Gita. By the closing kirtan we will finish because kids will be hungry. 6:30 we will have prasadam, but I think we will be finished by that. So we will translation English, so full Bhagavad Gita, just English translation we are gonna read. No Sanskrit, only English translation. But you know the flow. You know, every year we read, still every end of the year we feel that, oh, we forgot what was happening, how the Krishna spoke and how Arjun respond, all this. So please join us, it will be fun. Please join us. It's a really opportunity to read, and alone you might get bored reading, but in group we can do it together. So that is the one thing. Anything else? Okay. Yeah, see, you want? Huh?
So, Hare Krishna, everyone. First of all, with lot of respect and admiration, I would like to thank Panchmi Mataji and Kashyap Muni Prabhu for giving me this opportunity to do this seva, and I accept this humble position. And this is a very wonderful thing which happened while Chetna Mataji Rohini Shakti, we went for the book distribution seva. He is Robinson from Nigeria. He is glorifying Srila Prabhupada. Just listen to him. What he's saying.
So I've read about some of his books, and his teachings with respect to meditation and all that, and his mantras, lots of things. So I agree with you, knowing as a very good guru.
Wow.
So
History of Prabhupada ki jai. This is the same question
yes,
here.
this is
So,
so I mean,
yeah. Where are you from actually?
I'm from Nigeria.
Nigeria. I have a colleague of mine who's also from Nigeria.
So he's saying we approached him and we gave him Bhagavad Gita, and before accepting he just turned Bhagavad Gita and said, I know this Guru and he's one of the greatest Guru I know and he's one of the best teacher and I have read his books. Can you imagine where has Srila Prabhupada gone to just fulfill the mission of his Guru Maharaj? And he was preaching us that he is one of the greatest Guru, and we really admire his books and everything, and that was the best part. So it's so much proud feeling for us. Yeah.
Sorry, because we have to leave with vacant this space. So sorry, Mataji. And without closing curtain, it's not ending.
Yeah.
So we have to do the closing
So
curtain.
this is just a beginning, whatever we saw. So
Yeah,
we
yeah,
all can
please, yeah.
distribute more Bhagavad Gita, lecture more, and take the mission forward.
Shri Shri Gaur Nitai ki
Jai.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Krishna Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
प्रभुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर वेदांत स्वामी श्री प्रभुपाद की एवं विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर गोस्वामी महाराज श्री प्रभुपाद की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की हमारे श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की अहिंसक श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत राधा श्री गौर भक्तवृंद की राधा कृष्ण प्रभु के श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरी गोवर्धन की मथुरा धाम की वृंदावन धाम की नवदूत धाम की जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की राधिका धाम की गंगा मैया की यमुना मैया की भक्ति देवी की तुलसी देवी की समवेत भक्त वृंद की और प्रेमानंद देवी all glories to the Samari all glories to the Samari all glories to the Samari all glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vishnu Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauruvani Pachane Irgeshe Shishinvadi Prashada Deshotari
That was sudden. Wow, that was so sudden. Wow, that was way too sudden.